Hey YouTube, the reason why I'm doing this video is because there is so much going on with me personally. Going through temptations, going through the issues of attack. I mean, like I told you, I go through rape daily. I go through so many different things because my enemy knows that I'm not going back to the same situation that I came from. I can honestly tell you, I go through so many different attacks. One of the attacks that the enemy want to use against me is because of the situation I'm in, because of the rape, because of everything going on, that I should change my abstinence call that I made on my life, and I should start dating, I should start having sex, I should start doing certain things. It's not like things are getting any better. You're still being raped, so it's not getting any better for you. So you might as well go ahead and give in to certain things, start dating, giving into the temptations, all this different stuff. And I can personally tell you from personal experience, it isn't getting any better. I mean, even with me doing the Goddess of God, it's not getting any better. The only way to resolve this is by actually killing whoever is doing it. Incarceration is not the key for these people, but at the same time, moving forth with something that I cannot visibly deal with at this moment because I'm dealing with a matriarchic society. I'm dealing with them doing certain things that are inappropriate in that matriarchic society. I'm dealing with so many different things that is unfair to me, that I wasn't even trained for. When you're not trained for something, you're not trained for it, you're not educated on it or whatever. So I go through so much. I go through being blanked out sometimes and raped. I go through in my sleep being raped in my sleep and waking up to being raped and can't visually see the person that's raping me. I go through the lies of them saying that it is you because you're going through psychotic attacks. And that's another lie. They're going to make it always seem like it's you, like you're the problem. You're going through the psychotic attacks. You're going through something. You're this, you're that. It's wrong, something wrong with you. There is nothing wrong with you. When you're dealing with depression, a lot of times it takes them giving you depressants, which is the ADA medication, forcing you to have lower levels of whatever hormone or whatever you're supposed to have. I don't know the technical terms for a lot of this stuff, but that's what's taking place. And the craziest thing, I'm going through all of this and I'm trying to keep it together. And then when you go to get rape kits, you have the police attack you. And a lot of people don't know that law enforcement will attack you and say, we're not giving you rape kits. So they are involved. You go to the hospitals to get the rape kit done. The denial is there. I can't do it because the officer says I can't do it. And that's just their way of saying we're not doing it, period. Because it was times that the officer didn't even show up and they refused to do a rape kit. So these people don't care. They're not going to try to give you the proper medication to make sure that you don't catch an STD. It is a good possibility that I can catch an STD, and they're not going to care. I can go months, I can go years with the STD because of being raped. And if I don't report the rape, nothing happens. And they are aware of it. It was times where they used to give home rape kits where if you've been raped, because the number of women that was being raped was so high, they gave home rape kits to people to actually do the rape kit at home and mail it into the forensic place to get a forensic evidence of what's taking place right here in my community. And even though they think no one remembers it, we remember. There was times when pap smear, the disease had then got so out of control that they were giving home pap smear kits where you mail into the forensic center to get it tested for STDs and stuff like that. And men had to do the same thing. They would do the swab and they would get tested that way because there was so much rape. Men do not take this for granted. They will lie to you and say, okay, there is no rape going on with you guys. You men are being raped. Some of you anally, some of your sperm. They're jacking you off, it's still sperm, and some of everything. I mean, sexually raping you and stuff like this. A lot of this stuff is talked about, but there is no resolution for it. It has came to my attention as God has been revealing to me that this has been going on for several years with no fix in this matriotic society. And when I say it's a matriotic society, it's just like the Matrix. With when they talk about demonology and demons and stuff like that, it's the same setup as the Matrix. Good and evil, all that stuff, and all this of stuff that they do. And nobody actually talks about what's taking place and what's really happening. And I have to divulge this information. I have to say something about it and everything. I can give you the examples of them feeling like, okay, well, because you're already being raped, why don't you date? I'm going to tell you what really happens when women date. When you date, you are dating not one man, but multiple men. They will actually remove the man from you. If he's not in compliance with what's going on, they will remove that man from you. And they start the rape process with him because he's not connected with them in what they're doing. If he's connected, he'll sit there and watch them rape you like a little child, helpless. Um, so dating, I don't do because of this. A lot of men are going through this too. Where they're starting to notice that their partner's being changed out. And men, I know a lot of times they try to glorify that type of stuff. It's not glorifiable. You would never allow that many women to touch your body in the same mindset, especially with what a lot of these women got going on. Some of them are diseased very badly. And you can only imagine a man waking up with an STD and he only been with his girlfriend. And that has happened to me in situations, and I wasn't aware of it. You know, my boyfriend saying, "Oh, I'm only with you," or whatever the case may be. Then how did a STD show up? You know, and that's something you go through. And this is part of the reason why Apostle Paul say it is better to be alone, because you can identify when these things are happening to you so that you can address them. They're trying to push away from the Islamic faith, the Christianity faith, the Buddhism faith, and a couple other faiths. They're trying to erase them out the same way they did with the Wiccan faith, the same way they did with a couple of other faiths where they're not as popular, but at the same time, they themselves want to use them only. So don't give up the faith. Don't give up the belief. Don't give up what you believe in, because these people play a very dirty game. I can tell you from personal experience, I have been put to sleep for years and years. Just put to sleep, inactive, unable to do anything for years. And someone else lived my life. Someone else goes through the motions and lives my life for me. I'm not living it, they're living it, or whatever the case may be. And I'm laying in a bed, sleep somewhere. God knows what's happening to me or whatever. I guess those are the times when they don't feel like they need to rape, because the rape is supposed to be an intimidation tactic, but actually it's a cowardice attack against the people. Because for me, it's as cowardice as it gets. because there is no way any man can tell me or woman can tell me you that messed up physically looking or whatever the case may be that you can't get anybody, that you have to rape a person to get somebody. And I'm starting to wake up to realize that some of it is dealing with more mental issues than ever before, because some of these people are blanked out. They don't even know that they're raping people. They're being blanked out and puppeteered. So we have to really be careful. Sometimes you think you're with your partner in a private area and you're not. After you think that you have satisfied your partner, someone else has stepped in and now is calling themselves trying to have sex with you and gratify themselves with you because they seen you and your partner active. I can't tell you, with men, they're waking up with STDs anally. And how do you divulge? How did I get an STD anally when I'm not having sex with certain things? And this is something people are actually dealing with. And to divulge this type of information, a lot of people get mad. I could care less. Stop attacking people, then you won't have to hear about it. Another thing they're doing too, they want you to just go along with whatever they're doing. They cover this stuff up with you dating. So if you're gay or a lesbian, whatever the case may be, or just a regular person, straight, however it goes, whatever lifestyle you lead, I'm telling you, they cover a lot of their deeds up with you dating someone else. If you are a gay guy, you might have one partner according to you, but that one partner is many partners because they will still sexually rape you. That's with a man, woman, no matter what sex you are, no matter what's your sexuality. This is an epidemic. It has been going on for so long unaddressed. And the reason why it's going on this long unaddressed because the people have not awakened. These people did not get the opportunity to awaken and address the situation taking place, and it only got worse. Remind you, this is a matriarchic society. It's the Matrix. They play a dirty deed, the same as the movie. It's just to throw it flamboyantly in your face because you're not given the option to actually clean this mess up the right way and make it better. They don't want to make these places better. I can tell you there are counties with vendor codes for prostitution. They are hiring prostitution because they feel like the rape is a problem. Let me clarify this for you. There are prostitutes already on the streets. These men don't touch the prostitutes that's on the streets. They want to touch God-fearing people, people that's going to work every day. So prostitution or soliciting for prostitutes is not going to get rid of this problem. It's not addressing the problem itself. I know you feel like all they want is sexual gratification. These idiots don't want sexual gratification. They are intelligent people. I call them an idiot, but they are very intelligent people who execute a system of plan of diversion. You may think that the whole purpose is for sexual gratification. They are trying to force people to join them through this. I cannot tell you how many times I'm offered daily to join a group of people that sodomizes people and rape people. I cannot tell you how many times they do that. And for me, I will not join you. Even if it means an end to this, I cannot join you. I was taught to be on the right side of history, even if it means that you have to go through the pain of not having resolution. Um, The biggest thing about this video I want to make aware, a lot of times people join the wrong things to stop whatever's happening. Don't do that. Joining is a shackle. You don't want to join anything that is not for you. And that's what the problem is. They trying to force you to join them so that they can be more flamboyant with abuse of you and your family, of you and your people. And that's not something that you want to be a part of. I don't want my family abused. I know you don't. So do not join these people. Our children have been abused since they were children, babies. And that's everybody. So when someone comes up and they say, oh, this didn't happen, my kids didn't go through that, just consider that them not being awake enough to know. Because I can tell you personally, if there any in any system like the one that I'm in right now, it happened. And they don't care. They are flamboyant with it. So when you do what you do, you be flamboyant with it too. Whatever you have to do, and don't fear the consequences, because you're already dealing with consequences that are not yours, that they put us to sleep and refuse to allow us to sit up here and resolve. They don't want to end what is happening. They want to do a cycle, and they want to execute this in this cycle, and they want you with the Alzheimer's so that you can be dumb. They're doing switches. So I'm going to tell you another thing with the switch that they do. These people want to switch out their lifestyle for your lifestyle. What they don't understand, your lifestyle isn't all that. But they want to switch with your lifestyle because they don't want to endure it. Women, I cannot tell you that I am in the process of getting my tubes tied. A lot of people don't, but I need to. So I'm in the process of getting my tubes tied. Hopefully by next week, I have to go pick up my paperwork. Hopefully by next week, I have my tubes tied. This is not something that I willingly believe in. I would never choose to tie my tubes because I believe in procreation. But when you know that your children can be removed from you and taken from you at any time, and these people don't care, they are aware. The same clinics that you're going to, they are aware that this stuff is happening. But guess what? They don't want to solve the problem. So you go into the clinic, you're confessing this to these people. And guess what? They sitting up there, they listening to you. They know it's happening. But guess what? They don't care. Whether, and I'm going to be real with you, sometimes they are in a dumbfounded state. It's not even of their own fault. I can't tell you how many times I was watching TV or watching a TV show and was blanked out while I was watching it. Blank completely out. No hope, no nothing. Just blank completely out. And then I can't tell you how many times that they think that these attacks is going to force me to join them. And I'm not joining this mess. I believe in being on the right side of history. I believe in God. I'm not joining the devil. I'm not joining Satan, because I'm going to be real with you. You will sit there for centuries joining this mess. You already got to sit there quite some time when you ain't connected and affiliated. It gets even longer when you are. Another thing, don't give up on what you're doing. So if you're practicing abstinence, continue to practice abstinence. If you're not having sex, continue. Like if you're not dating, continue not to date. You know, I'm gonna be real with you. This is the healthiest thing for you, because I can tell you, you might find yourself dating, and while you're dating, they're giving that person control over you because it's one of their puppeteers. And so you're talking to a person and he's having control over you. I cannot tell you, I have witnessed so much go on in these past couple of years just by dating one guy. And I remember when I hooked up with the guy, he didn't have money. He didn't have nothing really and stuff like that. And I started realizing that I slowly started to decrease every year as I'm dating this guy. I was in college when we hooked up. I was working and everything. But every year, okay, school went away. After a while, the work went away and I'm sitting up here, I'm at home doing nothing. And every year I started getting worse and worse and worse until I said, look, you got to go. There's nothing here for us. And when I finally did that, when I finally let him go, I suffered a lot because okay, I should have been let him go, one thing. But what I set up there and I actually had to go through is trying to rebuild. And rebuilding usually is a lot easier, but this time it wasn't. There was no government assistance. So I'm signing up for help in my community. Honest to God. Rental assistance, light assistance, water assistance. The county saying, we got funding for it. We're funding. They're broadcasting it bold too. And I'm signing up for these programs, but no rental assistance, no help whatsoever, no nothing. So the poverty level increased. And then they're telling me in order to get help, you got to go into a homeless shelter. The homeless shelters was up under attack. They're worse. They like being in a prison, the homeless shelters. So I couldn't go into a homeless shelter and get help at all because it would be like being in a prison. Seriously. And some of them had opened up in the formal jails, like the old jails that we had in the community. They opened up in that. But there was no help. You would dial the because we have a 211 number that's operated by the organizations. It's supposed to be a community help. You dial the 211 number asking for help. They tell you, oh, you got to go into a shelter in order to get any help. And these shelters weren't safe at all. At all. It was a dangerous situation. And the people that was over the shelters were affiliated with the rape situations and a lot of other stuff that was going on in the community. And nobody was disclosing this, nobody was talking about it, nobody was saying anything. And then you have to remember, and I tell people this all the time, you have these bad situations going on, and then you have a group of people that's in those bad situations fighting for good, and they don't know how to deal with it. They don't know what to do or what to tell you because it's so much going on. So I'm just, I have to document my testimonies on here and tell people what's really going on. I can tell you personally, um, this weekend was horrible for me. All I felt was being raped this weekend, and they will rape you until you feel like you want to cry, honestly, because you're angry because you can't do anything about it. So this is something that they do to make you feel helpless, make you feel like you don't have control, but you do. Do what's in your power to do. You're reporting the rapes. If law enforcement feels like you're going to stop reporting, they're going to continue to do it because they're partakers in this. And trust me, we're dealing with sheriffs, we're dealing with the organizations and stuff like that, and all of them teaming up. We're dealing with that. And I'm not saying that all organizations are bad. Trust me, I have my own organization. I have my own entity. All I'm saying is a lot of this stuff have good and bad to it. Because the sheriff can't know all of this is going on. I feel like it's a group, it's not getting to the top person. Can't get there. because that's too much going on up under one umbrella for there not to be some type of consequence or something. I remember them removing my sons from me. They tried to use I'm telling you, I'm in all out warfare. They took my children from me for no reason at all. Just picked my kids just picked my kids up and took them from me. I remember my mom pretending like she's for me, and then every time she pretends she's for me, she just started attacking me for no reason at all. Just like out the blue. I'm like, what is wrong with you? And then God showed me where they're doing the same thing to her. That the person that is pretending to be my mom and attacking me out the blue isn't my mom. That's the puppeteering thing. That's the illumination. That's them doing this. And when we talk about illumination, we're talking about a ill nation because of the matrix. This nation is ill. It's sick. And it's not getting any better. It's only getting sicker. These people are rejoicing at illness. These men and women that's raping people, they're not even trying to get healed or cured. Do you understand what I'm saying? They don't want to get healed and cured. They want to spread diseases, AIDS, trichomonia, all those STDs, syphilis, gonorrhea. Can you imagine being a person that practice abstinence and actually being told that you have these types of things going on with you? It's a hard pill to swallow. My biggest thing to tell you is not to break. I never knew why women would get the female circumcision. Doing this venture, I found out why in other countries these women were forced to get female circumcision. They will take a vibrator and put on your clitoris and vibrate it all day, night for no reason. Just attach it there and go. So to get rid of that, they cut off the clitoris, the female area, cut it off so that you don't have to go through that. That's why it was considered a clean act. Women, if you have a period, I take the Depo to stop seeing a period, to stop having to deal with that. That's a hormone and stuff like that. I take it. I I take I take it. I take the Depo, and it stops my period. It's a birth control as well. Um, to get rid of the smell and the stench and the stankness of all this mess, and I try to dish once a week or whatever the case may be. But it's so much going on because I'm going to tell you something. When I started with the Depo, I was still bleeding. I bled for a couple of months or whatever. It cleansed out or whatever. It has to cleanse you completely out. So you're going to go through like 3 months of heavy bleeding to cleanse the area completely. But when I started noticing that I was being forced birth control pills to force me to bleed, like I don't know if they were doing the injections or the shots of it or what, but they were trying to overtake the Depo shot. Seriously. I don't even know if it was tearing. They could have been tearing me under my clothes because the state in which I'm in is an unfair state. Now, this the messed up part. They keep screaming, we're going to rape your son when they get back to you. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. We're going to do all this stuff. Fear and intimidation. They want to rule through fear and intimidation. So I'm going to tell you this. Wherever your children are, they're already going through that. Wherever they are, they're already going through it. They're not going to stop their agendas. They're already raping those kids. They're already doing them kids any kind of way. I cannot tell you when I had to sit up there and walk through a park and hear a group of boys talk about a young woman who was beautiful. She was a beautiful little girl, light skinned, gorgeous. They did their little skit or whatever you want to call it. And they tell this little girl, you was sucking thing for $20 when we was in the group orphanage and stuff like that. And the little girl couldn't say anything and stuff like that. Now, I don't know where the group orphanages are. I don't know who's watching out for these kids in these homes and stuff like that when they remove these kids from their parents. All I can say is this: no young woman would choose to actually commit those type of acts without some sort of encouragement or something going on there. Manipulation, dark psychology, something's going on there. But nobody talks about this type of stuff, and this is very much going on. That's why it's good to have the parents in the home with the children. That's why it's good to have someone talking to these kids constantly. The kids are going through trauma, but the trauma that they're going through is caused by the same people who talking about some they're protecting the children and stuff like that. I can't tell you how many children were removed from the homes and these people never posed a threat. I never posed a threat to anybody. I was never a threat to my children. I cannot tell you that I went in the courthouse, which I'm starting to figure out. It's like TV court or something. You know, you actually got to know what you're getting yourself into. But I actually went into the courts, and as I'm in the court, I asked the question. I say, well, how was the child endangered? The child it wasn't in danger. It's nothing was wrong with the child. Child was in perfect health, perfect condition, or whatever. So the child didn't wasn't malnourished, wasn't abused, didn't have marks on him, didn't have anything wrong with the child, but you still removed the child from the home for no reason at all, alleging and claiming mental instability, which was induced, if any, by you all. If there is any mental instability, it was actually induced and contributed or brought into the household by you all, not by the person who you allege had involvement in that or allege was mentally unstable. And that's the problem. But they removed the child. So when they start seeing that it's a possibility that the child could come back home to me, they started threatening that if the child come home to me, they're going to rape the child. They're going to do certain stuff to the child. They're going to harm the child. They're going to harm me, um, my daughters, my grandbabies and stuff like that. All of this is supposed to be a fear tactic or whatever. I'm still finding courts for my children. So I'm telling you guys, this is just a testament. Every so often, I'm going to do my testimony. I'm going to do my testament. I'm going to tell you about stuff that's going on with me because it's necessary. I'm actually going to start actually doing a testament every so often to show you guys how it is for me, because nobody will divulge the information. And by my stripes, I hope you guys get healed. May God bless you. Good luck.